I guess compared to this time a year ago, I know you were confident, but that was your first major opportunity in the NFL. I mean, I guess what's the difference between this camp and last camp, maybe just as far as mindset or just feeling more comfortable or whatever the case may be?
I think compared to last camp, really, this year we just have one more successful year to build off of. I feel like 2021 was a disappointment in many ways to us, just because we didn't get to where we wanted to go, and then 2022 was kind of the same thing. So, I just feel like we're just refocused even more with this 2023 season to make sure that we accomplish our goals.
There is the thought of frustration builds in, being so close and not getting there. But what you just said is what so many people have said, that we're even more determined. And is this like a vibe you get, or is it actually guys talking about it?
I mean, both for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's people are making it very, very clear vocally what the goal is this year, and then also you can see it day in and day out through this camp. Like we had a 90-something rep practice yesterday, so we're definitely putting the work in, and I feel like we're on a good track to be successful.
How tough is it to come back the next day after a practice like that?
I mean, it's tough to. It's like playing a game and then going back and having another padded practice the next day. But I mean, that's just football. That's just part of this season, part of this camp. I feel like it really gives us an opportunity to get that, the football conditioning that you really can't get any other way. Like obviously we're all football players and we want to be the best football players we can be on Sunday, but off-season workouts don't really do that for us. We got to actually play football.
I think Chris Forrester was in here earlier today talking about how some of the younger guys they're auditioning at center, they have to learn how to communicate pretty well. How has your communication skills improved? Like, I guess now that you've gotten more reps, more opportunities to do that and recognize things that you need to look for.
Yeah, so really our communication at the line is, it's gone down a lot, which is a good thing, right? You don't really want to tell the defense what you're doing. And when everyone can be on the same page without saying anything, that's really our goal. So, I try and make sure to tell people what they need to know when they need to know it, and nothing more. Redundancy just gives the defense more information than we want them to have, and I feel like, at the guard position and at the tackle position, we have great players that have been studying all off season and they know the plays. So I feel like, the less words, the less numbers that come out of my mouth, the better at this point.
Jake, you had a great year last year, Pro Bowl alternate, best year of your career, and then you show up this year and here's Feliciano, who's a veteran who started in New York. Do you feel challenged by that? I mean, nothing's handed in the NFL, but how do you feel about the addition of Feliciano? What's he added to the room?
I think he's a great addition. Obviously, we lost a couple key players and a couple key, guys in the room just with free agency and all that stuff. You're not going to have the same team each year. So, being able to add a guy into the room like John, I feel like does nothing but keep the room competitive and really drives us to just be the best room that we can be for the team.
I got it's a quarterback question. Got to be coming. So just Brock Purdy steps in the huddle first time at camp. Any twinkle in his eye? Anything that you've seen through this first week from him that kind of puts things in perspective of what he's pulling off?
Honestly, it feels like nothing's changed, which is a great thing. He ended his season last year, obviously with injury, but still on the top of his game. And I feel like he's been nothing but getting better each week. You really can see that this season as well. I feel like just every single day, he might screw up one play or two plays in practice, but the next practice you deliberately see him fix that problem, and that's really all you're going to want from a second-year quarterback. So.
Did you face go up against Hargrave much at all in the NFC Championship game? If so, what were your impressions of blocking him?
Yeah, so I got a few one-on-one blocks from him in pass pro, a few run blocks on him. He's an incredibly efficient player. Just looking at his stance, he's so coiled up and so compact in his stance that where his first step might cover the same amount of ground as a comparable D tackle's first 2 steps. So, anytime you can go against that type of player, that dynamic, that smooth of a player in practice is just going to let us be more prepared for going against anyone else that we play opponent-wise.
You just mentioned one thing that makes him special. Is there other qualities he has that you don't see it everywhere?
I mean, he's got, physically he's got a crazy low center of gravity, which just allows him to have really good balance. He can change direction very fast, and he's got good anchor, right? For a guy that's his size, he's not crazy heavy, so having a guy that can really have that weight distributed into his legs just, adds to his anchor and adds to his flexibility when it comes to run pass.
You guys lose a pretty good player in McGlinchey, but McKivitz seems very, very confident. Give me your thoughts on Colton and how he's looked so far.
Colton's great. I'm so happy for him to get this opportunity. He's kind of what I was last season with, kind of being like a background 6th guy, and then finally getting the shot to really get a starting position this season. So, I've always seen the intangibles in him. He works harder than anyone else in the room, and he knows the offense. He's constantly asking me questions about what to do here, what's going on there. So, I'm honestly just really happy for him to get this opportunity.
When you go back to communication, when you say, obviously you don't want to say anything until you have to, what prompts you to have to? Does that mean something's gone wrong, or you're in a bad situation if you have to speak up?
Yeah, so, especially kind of these new age defenses, we kind of call them like enigma defenses. They have a bunch of dime sets and, crazy numbers of DBs out there and stuff like that. So any sort of kind of off the normal look, then I'm probably gonna have to say something, whether it's like a load nickel look or if it's a dime, 5-1 look, just something that's not the 90% of the stuff that they run, but the 10% of the other stuff that they run. I'll probably have to clarify what we're doing at the line of scrimmage.
Okay, I'm sorry to carry on this, but I think a lot of us think like, the center's always barking out stuff. So how do you guys, again, could be very stupid here, but how are you guys making adjustments if you're not saying anything? And is the way you guys do things unusual in the NFL?
I don't think so. I started my career in Dallas where Travis Frederick said literally nothing at the line of scrimmage for probably 80% of the snaps that they did. But that was a crazy good offensive line. They had a lot of arguably Pro Bowlers / all-stars on that team, right? But I honestly think if you ask centers across the league, the more prepared the offensive line is going into a game, the less that they have to do, especially pre-snap wise. So really, that's just our goal. Just make sure that everyone knows the offense, everyone knows what they're doing against the base looks, and then I'm still making a point. I'm still calling a mic, but that doesn't mean I'm saying like exactly what's going on to a Pro Bowl nose guard, because that's not really what we want to do.
Were you mic'd up last year for any games?
I'm not sure. I'm always mic'd up a little bit,
Yeah.
but
I'm just wondering because I remember like back in the day when they started putting those mics on players in the center, be concerned that other teams would be able to listen to everything they say and diagnose your signals and calls.
Yeah. There's a whole other wrinkle of like dummy calls and dummy signals. We'll try and misdirect, what's going on, because if we have a defensive tell that anytime I do like this signal, then they do something else, right? Then I might do that signal on like a outside zone instead of a pass play. So
We do the same.
Plenty of
a lot of
wrinkles.
dummy signals.
Forrester described TDP, Ty Davis Price, as a man on a mission.
Yeah.
How's he look different to you from last year to this year?
It's almost night and day. Like it's pretty wild how much he's progressed. I feel like a lot of people, they didn't write him off, but they also didn't expect huge things from him mid-season to late season last year. But this season I feel like he's in the running, like legitimately in the running to be a huge contender for that running back position. So, I mean, I feel like he's, anytime you see him running out of safety, it's like, what's going to happen there? You know, it's definitely something that's, you know, it just, honestly, it's just inspiring to watch, and hopefully it just keeps getting better.
Speaking of preparedness, we're talking about the offensive line. How much more prepared do you think Aaron Banks, Spencer Burford are compared to year one as starters to year two?
I mean, I think football is a game of reps, right? So if you can see this look and you were burned on it in OTAs, and you bank that into the back of your mind, and you see it in, you know, week 3 of regular season, you know, you'll be able to not do that same mistake. So I feel like anytime someone gets more reps, and anytime they see more looks, more adjustments, more fronts, more corrections by, you know, Coach Forster, I feel like all of that has added up over the past 2 seasons for Banks and 1 season for Spencer. I feel like they're in a good spot.
And one more for Jake. Vinny? All right, thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Jake.
On the other players we have today.